I'm Sara Goldhardt, a director in GBQ's state and local tax practice. There have been a lot of developments on the state and local tax front just in the past couple of months. So I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes just talking about a few of the things that multi-state companies should be aware of and be planning for as we head into the second half of 2020, especially on the income tax and payroll tax front. The first thing is the state tax impact of the CARES Act. We've only seen a couple of states so far put out guidance on the CARES Act, and similar to what we saw with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act a couple of years ago, I expect we're going to see a lot more related to the CARES Act over the coming months that multi-state taxpayers are really going to need to look at. The second thing is income tax nexus. We've got this situation where employees are working from home in states and cities that they usually don't work in. So there's a lot of questions around income tax nexus and what does this mean for my company. So now is the time for companies to look at their multi-state footprint and over the coming months to see how it will impact their state tax compliance for 2020. Similar to that is employer withholding. That's another thing that multi-state taxpayers will need to look at, and given the COVID-19 situation, they'll need to make sure that they're withholding in the correct jurisdictions. Again, many have said that this period is temporary and that companies haven't had to change their withholding practices, but not all states publish guidance, and many employers are looking to keep employees home longer or potentially permanently. So employer withholding is an area that companies will need to address over the coming months. State apportionment, that's also something that multi-state taxpayers will need to really hone in on and be cognizant of for tax year 2020. Again, given employees are working from home, they'll need to look at what that means for the payroll factor, if the state still uses a payroll factor, and sales apportionment. If the company is a service provider who sells services, now they may have employees working in cost of performance states. So cost of performance states look to where the work is being done for sales sourcing. So you may now have employees working in those states performing services, and you may need to source revenues now to those states. Lastly, state tax credits. That's always an area that multi-state companies should look for to make sure that they're taking advantage of. Many states already have credits for capital investment, for job creation, for R&D. Some have payroll tax credits. We've just seen North Carolina institute a new unemployment tax credit. So I'm guessing that won't be the last either. Just given the current economic situation, I'm guessing many states will take a look at their state tax credits and maybe institute some new ones, especially given some of the payroll tax credits that we've seen at the federal level that many employers are taking advantage of. So these are all of the major topics that multi-state employers should be aware of and will really need to take a look at in the remainder of 2020 and how it's going to impact their 2020 compliance and potentially prior years as well if we're talking about the CARES Act. So if you have questions about any of these areas, reach out to your GBQ tax advisor. Also be sure to check out GBQ's COVID-19 website, our webpage that has all the latest information on all of the impacts, the financial impacts of COVID-19. There's a lot of great information. So thank you so much for watching today.